What is up? Welcome to the Pinball Podcast. I'm your host, Liz. I'm joined as always by my co-host, Marcus. We
Hello.
watched Warrior Wrestling 19 today.
Yeah. This is our first time watching Warrior Wrestling. And you know what? It was full of incredible matches.
Yeah. Um, it was a lot. There were like ups and downs.
I thought
There was some weird shit that happened.
there were way more ups than downs, definitely. I mean, definitely a negative is the promo and interview production quality. And the
Right.
sound mixing. But the wrestling was just the main reason you're there was fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was a good time. I enjoyed it. Especially for our first time watching this particular promotion.
Yeah, and we got an instant classic out of it. Thunder Rosa versus Athena. In my mind, up for match of the year. Because that shit was amazing. Um, Time limit draw, but still, it was amazing. I think time limit draw is probably the best way to do it. Thunder Rosa stays on top. Athena proves she can still wrestle. Amazing.
Yeah. She looked great. Absolutely no ring rust whatsoever.
Yeah. She made us think she was injured. I thought she was like legitimately injured for the hot minute.
She made you think she was injured.
Yeah. I was genuinely worried for a second. A little nutshell of today's show. Let's see. We started off with the return of Lince Dorado. Now, it wasn't his first match back. This wasn't his first. I believe his first was like a couple days ago in CZW or CPW, one of those. I think it's CZW. But this is one of his first matches back after being released by WWE. That match was a little iffy because it looked like he had a weird finish. Then we had Warhorse versus Dalton Castle, Sky Blue versus Miranda Zay. Then a fatal four-way match: Myron Reid versus Gringo Loco versus Alex Zane versus Blake Christian. Ton of high-flying shit. Then we had, in my opinion, a great match between Brian Cage and Casey Navarro versus The Acclaimed. And it featured Brian Cage freestyling before it started. And that was great.
Yeah. That was not what I expected.
Yeah. Then we had Santana versus Mike Bailey, which was amazing. Amazing match. Then we had Bandito versus Dante Martin. That frustrated the hell out of us. Then we had the Briscoes versus Workhorsemen. A lot better than I thought it would be. Like, I genuinely thought for a second that the Workhorsemen would have won.
Yeah, it was looking like a little like.
Yeah. And then finally we had Thunder Rosa versus Athena. Probably Ember Moon's / Athena's best match of her career. And she got very emotional at the end. But really amazing stuff. Some guy got kicked out too.
Yeah.
Some guy got kicked out too.
Yeah, I wish I knew what he fucking said.
Oh, I don't want to know what
It
he
had to be
said.
something pretty fucking egregious.
Yeah. It was so bad, I guess, that Thunder Rosa after the match was like got on the mic and said, "Don't be disrespectful to us. Get in here and try and do what we do."
Yeah. Which, I mean, ended up making a banger of a promo.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's our little nutshell of today's show. You want to dive deep into the into the event?
Yeah, let's do it because this was a long one, folks.
It was. Oh, it was about the normal like WWE AEW pay-per-view length.
Yeah, which is not what I usually expect from indies.
Yeah. But yeah. Also, before we do, I know we don't do like news, but I saw this, and I can't help but talk about it. It has nothing to do with Warrior Wrestling. So a certain name popped out of the blue after being released from WWE. Mr.
Oh no, I think I know.
Well, Mr. Jackson Riker had an interview recently, where he said that if he were still in his 20s, he would have hunted down and assaulted wrestlers who called him out. That's paraphrasing. And that's a good way to get yourself blacklisted from any promotion. Unbelievable.
Who the fuck says that?
This sleazebag.
It's because I heard a lot of people talking about Riker, and I was like, why the fuck are we talking about Riker?
Yeah. He basically had an interview where he was like, I don't know why people came after me so much, yada, 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 and then said that. God damn. It is amazing that he was not released before Macklin and Blake. But anyway, just wanted to mention that before I forget tomorrow, Wednesday. So let's start off. We gotta start doing predictions for these shows. First up, we had Lince Dorado versus Sam Adonis for the Warrior Wrestling Lucha title.
Yeah, this was a good match.
It was good until the end.
Yeah, the end was weird. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Sam Adonis either. I don't know. Let's get into it. So Lince starts off by being a real schmuck. That's the best way I can put that. He gets the belt. He starts walking around with it until the ref takes it away from him, and Lince is like, okay. Plus, he came out in one of his smoking jackets, one of the ones that he makes himself, which I fucking love.
Very talented.
Yes, he is. And he seems super excited to be at this show tonight.
Yeah.
So we get a head scissors takedown to Adonis, and then of takedowns. Lince then bitch slaps Adonis, hits him with a back elbow, or Adonis hits Lince with a back elbow. Gets a Michinoku driver off onto him. Lince then gets a chair. Which sort of ends poorly for Lince because he receives a cannonball from Adonis that sends him into said chair. Then we get German suplex to Adonis. Lince sends Adonis into the post. We get a low rope moonsault and then a second rope moonsault, and he's going for that one on the top rope. But Adonis doesn't stick around for that. Instead, he gets cross-bodied ringside by Lince. Lince gets him back in the ring, hits him with that top rope salt. However, Adonis gets an STO off onto Lince after Lince sets up 2 chairs ringside. We get a Michinoku driver to Lince once again, and then Enzuigiri to Adonis, who goes up top. Dorado then hits Adonis with a top rope hurricanrana, lands on his feet, which was fucking impressive. And then we get a drop kick to the back of Adonis's head. Lince does some more construction. He gets some more chairs, finds a fanny pack under the ring, wears the fanny pack for a couple seconds, then kind of poses with it.
Yeah, he wears
which was
it,
definitely one of the cameramans.
Yeah, immediately takes it off.
Well, no, he had it. He kind of looked at it, put it on, vibe for a moment, and then he was like, I actually have to do my shit now.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that he's having so much fun. But he gets 2 chairs, sets those up. Lindsay then wants to suplex Adonis from the inside to ringside into those chairs. Can't quite get it. He gets a springboard cutter off onto Adonis and then a satellite DDT Adonis into a cross arm breaker, but Adonis gets the rope break. Adonis then tries to send Dorado into those same chairs, but has no luck. He gets a flying head off the ringside apron into those chairs. Adonis had scissored into the chairs, which was a really crazy move.
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay then goes flying over the top rope. He, however, gets caught in the process and then flung into the barricade and then over the barricade. And then Dorado gets counted out. And the crowd, who was loving Adonis, like eating him up, immediately everyone started booing. Nobody liked that.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seemed like Lindsay was unless the point was that Adonis was supposed to do something that like kind of like looked like a dick move, and then like people would be like pissed off like they were.
Mm-hmm.
Unless that was the point.
Yeah.
It was dumb.
Yeah. Because like he just barely didn't make it in. And it felt so deflating for But it was also the first match, so maybe it was supposed to happen that way. I don't know.
It didn't feel like the reactions from Lindsay or Adonis. Lindsay sort of, but from Adonis, it didn't seem like he was like, oh, yeah, I'm the champion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me feel like maybe this was supposed to happen, but yeah. I thought it was a shitty end to like what was a really fun match.
Yeah. Then right after that, I should also mention before we get on to the last match, this event was chosen for us by our lovely Twitter followers. Each week, unless there's an obvious event we'll be covering on our weekend shows, we'll be having a poll to decide what we should cover. And you know, we love the participation. We love hearing from you guys, what you guys want to see us recap and review. So follow us on Twitter at Pinfall Podcast to keep an eye on those polls coming out each week. Next weekend won't have one though, because Elimination Chamber will most definitely be the one we cover. Most likely, unless Liz really objects to covering Elimination Chamber. Alright, so yeah, Warhorse versus Dalton Castle.
Yeah. Very long setup to this match. Very long setup. Warhorse and Dalton basically hate each other from the get-go because they're basically the antithesis of one another. Warhorse goes to shake Dalton Castle's hand after sticking his hand down his pants. Dalton says, all right, I'll do the same fucking thing. And then Warhorse slaps Castle's hand away. We get some shoving. There's some jabs to Castle and then some chops to Warhorse. Warhorse gets sent into a post and settles it like nobody else. He then goes up top, but Dalton shakes the ropes, sends him flying to the floor. Warhorse then is sent into the Buckle's head first, but the head-banging powers of Warhorse are activated, basically. And he just gets strength from it, I guess. Ends up clotheslining Castle off the apron. Suicide dives onto Castle. Castle fucking says, fuck this. Tries to leave, but Warhorse puts him back in the ring. Hits him with a slingshot into the ring, but Castle gets his knees up. And then there's a clothesline to Castle and some knees to Warhorse and a slam for Dalton Castle to win. Which I also didn't expect, but...
You didn't expect Dalton Castle to win?
No.
I think I kind of did, because Dalton's Ring of Honor. He's from a bigger promotion. I don't know. very fun match, and it was just a big, big conflict of personalities. It was wonderful. I'm surprised Dalton's boys didn't get involved more.
I don't think that they stuck around.
And normally they're there, like, clapping for him.
Yeah. And maybe there wasn't a ton of space, though, ringside. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah.
There wouldn't have been a good corner for them to all huddle in.
Yeah. So next we have Sky Blue versus Miranda Zay.
Yes. The match let me try that. The start to this match was kind of slow. Didn't really kick off until Sky Blue started chasing Zay around the ring, hit her with a violent arm drag, that like fucking tossed Zay. We get an arm drag to Blue, and then a head to Blue, and then an enziguri to Zay. Miranda gets a neck breaker off onto Sky Blue, and then several ropes, but no success. Hits her with some chops to the chest. Miranda then sends some forearms to Blue, mocks her a little bit by taking her like cap and like walking around. Sky Blue, however, gets a twisting neckbreaker off onto Zay, and then a leg to the throat of Zay and a cartwheel uppercut. Zay lifts and sends Blue to the apron. Blue kicks her over the head on that apron. We get a crossbody press to Miranda and then a super kick to her jaw. Miranda then gets what I did not know was called this, but is called the Miranda Rights submission onto Sky Blue. Which was just fucking hilarious. I love that.
It's so Blue perfect.
It is. I loved it. Blue ended up getting free and then hit with a cutter. Miranda attempted a shiny wizard to Sky Blue, but Blue just fucking planted Zay to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, I didn't expect Sky Blue to win, but she probably just won because she's on AEW. Totally thought Zay would be the one to do it. I don't know. But still, really fun match. Really fun match. And next we have Myron Reid versus Gringo Loco versus Alex Zane versus Blake Christian. I don't know why, but Gringo Loco always wants to replicate that triple electric chair.
Yeah, because it's fucking fun.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he always replicates it, but the ending is never the same.
True.
So far, we've gotten a different ending every time.
Yeah.
So. Okay. This one was a hard one to take notes on because, as you might imagine, 4 high flyers, that's a lot to talk about. We start with Blake Christian gets a head scissors off onto Alex Zane. Gringo Loco, I don't even know what he did before this, but he then hits a series of handsprings. And I was like, wow. And the commentators were like, if you don't really watch Gringo Loco's like matches, you probably would be shocked to see him do that. And I was like, I watched his matches actually. And I'm still shocked to see him do that. So here we are. There's a leg drop to the back of Christian's neck from Myron Reid. Zane, who was sent out of the ring, rolls back in. He makes a pile of the men in the corner and then cannonballs onto them. Blake Christian starts kneeing Zane, and they decide to dive out onto Gringo Loco. It's very cute because like Blake's halfway through, like just kind of like knocking Zane around, and then they see Gringo Loco, and they're like, you know what would be more fun? The power of friendship. Christian drop kicks Gringo Loco back in the ring. Then chops at Zane. He hits Zane with a drop kick as well. We get a top rope Hurricane Rana from Zane to Christian off of Myron, which fucking you figured that one out. Then Christian uses that movement itself, like mid Hurricane Rana, uses that movement to Hurricane Rana Gringo Loco.
I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
It's amazing.
Zane then lifts Christian up to the top rope. Gringo Loco's already up there. Christian jumps down as Zane runs into the corner, only for Gringo Loco to hit Christian with the springboard cutter. It feels like all these matches always, like these matches in particular, feel like sleight of hand tricks where I'm like, this guy's moving around real fast, so I don't notice this thing happening over here. But like, Reid ends up loading Zane out, hits Gringo Loco with a cutter from the inside of the ring to the outside of the ring. Zane then hits Reid with a cutter off the apron, takes out Gringo Loco on the way down. Christian drop kicks Zane off the top rope. We get a reverse DDT from Blake to Alex Zane, and then a Uranagi to Reid at the same time. So he kind of like takes Zane down and like slaps Myron on top of him.
How does Blake Christian do that? Fucking dive off the ring and then just do a fucking like land into reverse DDT.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. It's insane. My dude is insane. Gringo Loco then sets up the triple electric chair. It's a Gringo Loco, an Alex Zane, and a Blake Christian. And then Myron Reid goes up top on the ropes, not on the electric chair, and then flies off the top rope with an attempt at a cutter, but Christian turns it into a Spanish fly midway through the air. Then Zane goes off the shoulders of Gringo Loco into an elbow drop onto Gringo Loco. That's one note that I wrote.
Yep.
We then get a Spanish fly to Gringo Loco from Alex Zane, and then stereo 450s onto Loco and Zane, respectively, from Blake Christian and Myron Reid. And they look for like the double pin, and I thought that was a really fun little moment.
Yeah.
Reid and Christian get sent into each other, but by Gringo Loco and Zane. Christian then sort of goes for what I can only refer to as like a Blade Runner, but a DDT. Because he kind of had that like positioning, but then he just spiked Alex Zane, and that's how he won the match.
Right. Yeah, something like that. So fun. Such a fun match to watch. And then Blake Christian got on the mic and he said, I keep talking about how I want to be the best in the world. It's not some trick to put on a t-shirt. It's for real. I go to sleep. I dream about it. I'm obsessed with being the best in the world. Let's talk about Will Ospreay. I used to want to be like him and want his attention. I'm obsessed because he is one of the best in the world. If I beat Will Ospreay, you will have the truth. There is no buts. You will have to accept me as the best in the world. You, me, for the Warrior Wrestling Championship. So I wonder if that's happening at Warrior Wrestling 20. That might happen. Ospreay might lose that.
I think that would make sense too, because Ospreay I think is injured, or no, not injured. He's not around right now.
He's not?
Because he's not in New Japan right now.
Well, a lot of people aren't in New Japan right now.
Don't I fucking know it?
But yeah, hopefully that happens at Warrior 20. But next we have Brian Cage and Casey Navarro versus the Acclaimed, and Max freestyles instead of raps to the song, raps to his walkout. But then Casey Navarro gets on the mic and he says, Chicago, do you want to hear Papa Cage rap? And just before that, you said, wouldn't it be funny if Brian Cage started rapping?
Never fucking talking again.
And then Brian Cage starts freestyling, and it was like he said, like, I'm not good with rhythm, so I'm just gonna do kind of spoken word. And he was good. He had bars. I forget. It
was funny.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm not Brian Cage's biggest fan, but I do love watching Max Caster get put in his fucking place.
Yeah, he talked about, like, I may not be on TV, but at least I didn't get suspended or something like that. And then said, like, I may not be on TV, but I still make more money than you. Those are some of the lines, but
That was the last line, I think.
Yeah.
It didn't rhyme with goddamn anything. He just said it, and I was like,
oh yeah, no, that wasn't part of the freestyle. That was just him speaking.
oh, it wasn't?
Yeah.
It was quiet. I couldn't quite tell.
Yeah. But yeah, and then we had the match, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the match was a lot of fun. We have Navarro and Bones to start. Casey really obliterates Bones for like a hot minute. He gets like a cutter and like sort of a. I used to know what it was called because it happens. I think Natalia does it a lot. Do you know what it is?
Cutter?
When somebody's sitting on the ground and the other person like goes up and over and pulls their head down.
I know
Natty does it a lot.
When Charlotte does it's called the natural selection.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has a name.
It does. I know it does. But he hits that and then like a drop kick. Then we get Max Caster and he gets a running uppercut. After he gets uppercut by Casey after hitting Casey with a couple of hard shots. Cage gets in, he slams Navarro onto Caster. We get a vertical suplex to Caster, and then Navarro gets back, and we get Hella Strikes to Caster. Bones tags in, hits Navarro with a cutter right onto Max's knees. We get a huge slam to Navarro after Navarro gets hooked up around Bones' waist. However, Casey ends up getting a DVD off onto Bones. This gets Cage in. This gets Caster back in. There's a German suplex to Caster and then a super kick to freshly legal Bones. Cage lifts and slams the entire Acclaimed. And by that, I mean like he just takes both of them and slams them. There's a big DDT to Cage, though, from Bones. Acclaimed go up for the mic drop, but Cage jumps in, sends Caster to a ringside. We get a big knee to Bones and a German suplex to Bones as well. Casey then frog splashes onto him. Still doesn't get the pin. There's a DDT to Caster and a few good strikes to Navarro from Bones. Cage ends up in. He hits a pump handle driver to Bones. He goes to spin out Caster and hits the ref, though, and that's kind of where everything disintegrates because the ref is down. Nobody's there to make the count. And Brian Cage actually does the smart thing, which is he notices the ref's down. He's like, well, fuck, I've got the upper hand right now. Let me keep going. But Bones has a different idea. Bones' idea is let me hit Cage with these chains that we have while Max is laying prone and the ref is also laying prone. And then Casey Navarro has a similar idea where he says, why don't I take this necklace that I came out wearing?
It's the
or a big chain.
The #1 contender medallion.
Oh, is it? Thank you. I didn't know that. But he comes out wearing that. And he decides he's going to use that medallion to hit Bowens.
Mm-hmm.
But Bowens sees that coming, ducks. Navarro hits Cage instead. And then the Acclaimed end up, Bowens, who was not the legal man, ends up covering on Navarro, who is not the legal man. Which I don't remember if it was Bones or Caster, but it doesn't matter because Navarro was the one that was covered. He wasn't legal. The ref was like, sure, fine, fuck it.
Yeah.
And I was like,
how would the ref know he didn't tag in?
Right, that's a fair point. But usually the refs are like, if they didn't see it, then it didn't happen.
I mean, this whole show was a display of refs' discretion.
Yeah, in like the biggest possible way.
Most of these matches were not announced as no DQ, but they were no DQ. And the commentators even mentioned that.
Yep.
Also, that move, the natural selection, is called a forward somersault cutter.
Oh, okay. So I when I wrote cutter, I was in the right ballpark.
It was innovated by Jason Kincaid, who called it the Grave of the Fireflies. Yeah, it's a cool name.
They don't name moves like that anymore.
Yeah. Also, fun fact, Scorpio Sky and Sonata both use the Fireman's Carry Cutter, both calling it the TKO. Yeah, little fun fact.
All right.
All right, so after that, we had an interview with Thunder Rosa. She said, Athena, I'm glad someone from Texas, my home, in Chicago, my other home, is fighting me for this title. The interviews were not filmed very well. The audio was not captured on a lavalier mic or a boom mic. It seemed like it was captured via camera audio. So it was very hard to hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all that I really caught. And so after that, we get Santana versus Mike Bailey. And fun fact I learned about Mike Bailey. So, turns out in 2016, he was arrested and banned from the United States for 5 years.
What the fuck did he do?
I don't know what he did at all. Wikipedia doesn't state, but he was trying to compete for Evolve. And he's from Canada, so, travel is very important. He was trying to compete for Evolve, and he tried to get a visa during his ban while working for CZW, and he signed with Impact while he was banned. Okay, so Miriam said she believes he was working in the US without a visa or documentation. Which makes sense why he was trying hard to get a visa during his ban.
That'll do it.
But very, very interesting
Damn.
that he signed with Impact during his ban. That's why it's been a while since we've seen him at all.
That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Is that why Santana said after all this time,
Mm-hmm.
it's so nice to share a ring with you again?
Yeah.
Mike. What?
But yeah, this match was until Athena versus Thunder Rosa. I had this as like the best match of the night because this was incredible.
This was a fun one.
Really great stuff, and Santana has a great future as a singles wrestler.
Oh my god, yeah. Or return, I think, rather.
Yeah.
All right, so Bailey starts off by trying to just fucking be respectful, but Santana just beats the dude. No holding back on that. We get a lot of like super fast shit. A big kick sends Santana to ringside, and then Bailey moonsaults on to Santana. We get some big chops to Bailey. Bailey ends up getting power bombed and then buckle bombed though. He gets hit with a big suplex too. And then a belly to back suplex. Speedball starts looking, he looks pretty rough for a while. And then somebody in the fucking crowd screams, "Finish him like Jericho" to Santana, and Santana's just gut reactions, "Fuck Jericho." And I was like,
yeah,
you're right. When you're right, and you should say it. Then ironically, he goes on to do the Three Amigos to Speedball, which I guess Jericho was right. He does remind us of Eddie Guerrero, sure. Santana goes up top, but Bailey meets him up there. Eventually, Bailey gets the upper hand. He gets some rapid kicks to Santana and hits his corkscrew splash. He trips Santana up, misses several kicks until he gets one. And it's very funny because he attempts multiple times and then Santana like covers his face, turns, looks, says, "Is he still there?"
Like he asked the crowd, and they said,
And
"Yeah."
then he like lowers his hands and gets kicked in the fucking head, and it's like, oh well. Santana ends up hitting a suicide dive onto Speedball ringside. We get Bailey attempting that moonsault double knee drop, but he lands Patella first on the apron because Santana moves away. We end up getting an outside in suplex to Bailey, but Bailey curls up. He ends up getting driven into the canvas by Santana. We get a double knee moonsault that lands finally, and a buzzsaw kick to Santana, but no pin. Eventually, Santana hits a big lariat and then a pile driver to get the win. Very good match.
A very good match, yeah. Also, I just found out something about Power Trip NWA. Matt Cardona beats Trevor Murdoch, and he's the new NWA champion. Fuck
this
yes.
Is your fault.
No, this is the best. This is the best. Honestly, it's a good move because they're actually getting somebody who's over to be champion for once.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy Matt Cardona's becoming a belt collector.
Hate it.
Now have him like win the TNT title. Imagine he goes for the Knockouts title and wins that. I think that's intergender. I guess all titles in Impact are intergender. I think so. To a degree. Unless that changed recently. He should also fight Gresham. Even if he doesn't win, we'll have to see him fight Gresham. Anyway.
Fun. So that'd be fun.
Yeah. Anyway, so Santana, as you already mentioned, says how cool it is to have Mike Bailey back after all this time. They shake hands. Really, really great moments between these two guys. And then the match that frustrated both of us. Bandito versus Dante Martin. Now, it was a great match. It really was. However, the commentary team kept fucking saying that Bandito relinquished his Ring of Honor World Championship. He never did. He never relinquished it. He had COVID and could not attend Final Battle. That's why Ring of Honor specifically gave Gresham the original Ring of Honor World Championship. Bandito still has the current one. He is still champion. He's not a former champion. He's not interim. If anything, Gresham is interim. Or that is a separate title. But they are both champion.
And they kept saying, like, he still thinks that he is the champion. And, like, we're both sitting there, like, it's because he is.
Yeah.
Christ. You're gaslighting this poor man.
and then to wrap it all up, he loses against Dante Martin. Like, I love Dante Martin. He's on a great he's like 10-0 right now. Legit, he is 10-0 across all the promotions he's been competing in. But come on, he's up against the Ring of Honor World Champion. Even if he did relinquish it, he never lost it, and he's the PWG World Champion. If I was Ring of Honor or PWG, I would be pissed off.
Yeah, I would be too. Anyway,
let's jump into the match.
Yeah. So it's a lot of flippy shit to start. Then they drop kick each other. It's very much a like anything you can do, I can do better kind of vibe. eventually there's a dropkick to an apron-bound Bandito that sends him ringside. Bandito then does the Three Amigos. We get a huge crossbody to Bandito and then a body slam that just takes Dante out of it. Bandito kicks Martin upside the head, goes for top rope Rana, but Dante goes for that. But Bandito catches him, goes for a powerbomb, but Martin still manages to hit the top rope Rana, which was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't quite understand it. Because, like, he wasn't able to, and then Bandito's like, I'm going to powerbomb you, and then suddenly Dante's like, no, wait, I can do it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's usually just not how that works. And, of course, the commentary is like, he changed some small things about his movements, and that made him able to do it. And I was like, okay, sure. Martin goes up top, gets caught by Bandito, and we get a moonsault fallaway slam to Martin. Eventually, Bandito hits a springboard corkscrew punch, or Dante hits a springboard corkscrew punch to Bandito, and then hits the springboard moonsault press to win.
Clean. No fishy, no sketchiness at all. Man.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like, I get Dante's on the bigger brand. Maybe, maybe they're doing this. Like, maybe Tony Khan specifically requested this. So that, like, because Dante's going to win the TNT title. Maybe. He is in the Face of the Revolution ladder match. Or qualifying match. Maybe he beats
Doesn't that
Hobbs.
imply that Cody has to show up to work?
No, Sammy's champ. Yeah. It keeps wearing those 2 belts, and it's so annoying.
My bad.
Cody's at his other job. He's at the Go Big Show or whatever. The Go Paul White.
God.
So yeah, it was still a lot of fun. That match, it was a good match. Just don't agree with the finish whatsoever. As long, like if Dante Martin goes on to beat Sammy Guevara, fine. Then this match has a good outcome.
But even then, I sort of get it, but I don't get it, because at the end of the day, a world champion is, in my opinion, supposed to be stronger than the TNT champion.
Yeah.
I know that Tony is like, it's not a mid-card title. It's like, well,
It still kind of is.
yeah, it is. Sorry. When all of your mid-card wrestlers are going after the same title, it becomes a mid-card title. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, you're supposed to be building up Bandito to take on Gresham. Gresham's supposed to be like the best wrestler in the world right now. How are you supposed to do that if he's losing to Dante Martin? I get it, it's Warrior Wrestling.
Yeah.
Your fan base is most likely not watching.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's true. I doubt that there's a lot of people that are like, the only wrestling I watch is like pure indie shit.
I know, but a fraction of their fan base probably watching, but like, still, he represents. I'm so annoyed that they're like saying that he relinquished the title when he 100% did not.
Yeah, that was infuriating. I felt gaslit.
Mm-hmm. And they kept talking about it too. Like, just you're gonna be wrong. Just mention it
They were so
once.
confident in this fact.
Yeah. And it also doesn't help that he brought it to Terminus. Like, he had the belt at Terminus with Gresham. Oh, God.
And Santana, for that matter.
And Santana, yeah. So speaking of Ring of Honor, we then had the Briscoes versus the Workhorsemen for the Ring of Honor tag belts. And, I thought Anthony Henry and JD Drake would just be like, like just a one-off mixed tag team, just thrown together. They were so good together.
I don't think that they're a one-off tag team.
I mean, I only say
Pretty sure
they were a one-off because I've just never heard of them tagging together before. And outside of this, I've never seen them together. But oh, Miriam said they've been
they've been
tagging for
around for a
years.
minute. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Evolve. Okay. And
yeah.
yes, Miriam. Yeah. Bandito and Gresham are going to be fighting at Super Card of Honor. That's been announced. So like that match is announced. It's title for title. Come on. Anyway.
They initially started tagging in 2017.
Oh.
Just for the numbers.
5 years, wow.
Weirdly enough, 2017 feels so much farther away and yet so much closer all at the same time.
Feels like last year.
No, it doesn't. It feels like we are 30 years away from 2017 at this point. And I'm tired. Anyways. I keep forgetting, by the way, what their tag fucking team name is. And I don't know why, but my brain just wants to keep saying the Journeymen. And I'm like, that's not fucking it. Yeah, that's not cool, though.
That does sound pretty cool.
Like, my brain keeps making up very, very incorrect tag names for them. And finally, I'm just like, I never actually remember what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, we start with Mark Briscoe and Henry. Anthony Henry with his lovely green hair, by the way. He looks so cute.
Didn't realize he's been wrestling for 20 years.
Well, it's because he looks like a baby.
Yeah.
And how are you supposed to know that a man who is not a baby but looks like one has been wrestling for so long?
Finn Balor.
Yeah, Mark and I kind of came to the scary conclusion that maybe the reason that we keep like seeing men, like not men, but seeing people more like they're how old? They don't look that old. I think we kind of came to the realization that maybe it's just because we're getting older.
Yeah.
And our frame of reference is really just falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exciting. Anthony Henry doesn't understand Mark. It's very obvious because Mark's like standing in front of him doing weird shit, and Anthony Henry's just like, what the fuck are you? He gets hit by a few strong shots, but ends up flattening Mark with a boot. JD Drake and Mark Briscoe exchange some chops. We get a double stomp to the back of Mark Briscoe from the freshly legal Anthony Henry, and then a sliding dropkick to Jay from Henry, whose name I forgot also. Thought that Jay's name was Dave. Not Dave. It's Jay.
Yep.
Glad I asked you before I really wrote that down in my notes. Jay ends up taking the workhorsemen out ringside by jumping off of a chair onto them. JD Drake gets Mark. Anthony Henry drop kicks him into the fencing, the barricade. And then Anthony Henry does the exact same thing. Jay. We get a chair to the head of Jay Briscoe from Anthony Henry, and that's around the time where the commentary team was like, this wasn't announced as a no DQ match, but we guess it is now. Mark Briscoe ends up taking JD Drake off the apron. He drop kicks Henry into the corner. Jay ends up lifting Henry up. Mark takes him down. No pin. We get a neckbreaker to Henry, but Henry eventually gets a DDT to Mark Briscoe. JD Drake then gets in, starts chopping both men. He DDTs Jay, who DDTs Mark in tandem because he's holding on to Mark. We get a couple knees to the face of Mark, and then Henry goes up top to try to hit the Doomsday device. Or no. Henry is legal and is put up top in the attempt to get a Doomsday device. Mm-hmm. But Henry ends up getting free. JD Drake drop kicks Mark Briscoe. Henry and Drake alternate attacking Jay. We get a double stomp to the gut of Jay off the top rope from Anthony Henry, and that fucking looked vile, and I hated every second of it. Love the man to death, but I did not want to see that. And then a cannonball from Drake onto Jay. But Mark Briscoe gets Henry in the meantime, and then Death Valley drives him into JD Drake, who's covering on Jay, to break the pin. And then we get a Jay Driller and then the Frog Splash Elbow into Anthony Henry for the Briscoes to retain the titles. Looked really fucking close, though.
Yeah, they really did. Great match, though. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It makes me look forward to... What were we going to say?
I was really excited by it.
Makes me look forward to even more Briscoes versus FTR eventually, whenever that happens. Whether that's Supercard of Honor, AEW, wherever. Hopefully somewhere soon. Alright, so then we get an interview with Athena. She says, when I got off the plane, I was nervous, but now it feels like riding a bike. I've been doing this for 17 years. I held multiple titles. Tonight isn't about my previous accolades. It's about proving that Athena is still the best. So then we get Thunder Rosa versus Athena. Amazing. Amazing match.
Yeah. So we start by exchanging some arm submissions on one another. Then some man gets thrown out for, which I actually... No, it definitely was a guy. I was going to say, I'm not sure who was, but I can only assume. Who really knows what the fuck he said? I'm pretty sure something nasty about Athena. Just because she reacted much quicker than Rosa did.
Yeah.
And then the whole crowd starts chanting, fuck that guy. So, hey.
And
we came together.
Glad that even though she was her opponent for this match, I'm glad Thunder Rosa had her back.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's kind of like the nice thing about these indie shows is that, like, as long as it's not two people that are part of the company, per se, usually there's a lot of respect at the end.
Yeah.
So then we get a single leg dropkick to Athena. And then Athena lands a little funky and she's just like crying out in pain on the ground. Mark thinks that she's vastly injured while the referee is just sitting there.
She's a good actress.
She is a good actress. But the ref didn't call medics over, so that's when I was like, I don't know. But she plays it off for a while. However, she is just bullshitting. She is not injured. Haha. She tries to roll up Thunder Rosa. It doesn't work. There's a sliding boot through the ropes to Athena, and then a kick to the head of Athena, and a dragon sleeper on Athena, and then Athena grabs Rosa's cheek to break free. Rosa gets an arm breaker on Athena, but Athena won't let it get locked in. Rosa hits a drop kick to the face of Athena, and then a code breaker to Rosa, and a Michinoku drive to Rosa. Athena gets hit by a top rope hurricanrana, and then a hard drop kick that sends her all the way into the corner. Athena ends up rolling away, though, before Rosa can finish her off. We get a super kick to Thunder Rosa ringside, and then a big knee to the face of Athena. Athena gets her shit together for about 5 seconds, only to get it rocked again by a drop kick. She tries to hit a sit-out powerbomb to Thunder Rosa, but it's not enough for the pin. She goes for the deadlift face buster, but no pin. Right into a crossface that doesn't end in a tap. And it's just like these like time after time attempts at quick pins that she can't get.
Yeah, she's desperate.
As the time is like running out on the clock. Eventually they are counting down the last minute, and she goes up top. She wants to hit the Eclipse, and she hits the Eclipse. And then Thunder Rosa rolls out of the fucking ring and says, sucker.
So good.
Yeah. It was a strong match.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's definitely on par, especially with Danielson and Hangman. Both are incredible matches. And it's a shame that this happened on an indie show where a lot of people won't be watching it. because this should be seen. This is must watch. This absolutely is must watch.
Yeah.
Maybe not
I
the
agree.
whole event. I still definitely recommend this whole pay-per-view because it was sick. But this match specifically, must watch. But so then Thunder Rosa gets on the mic and starts yelling about people being disrespectful, saying that you can't get in this ring and do what we do. And then Athena, it's gonna take me a while to call her Athena, not Ember Moon.
Oh, I referenced her as Ember in like half of my notes.
She says, for the past 7 years, I've been at a place where we are not allowed to come out here and show our stuff. In my first match back, thank you. People like you make everything that we do in here worth it. And then Thunder Rosa gets on the mic and thanks people as well. Really, really fantastic stuff to see. Probably like Thunder Rosa, one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and Athena, like top free agent right now, just showing that, you know, her talents are being wasted in WWE.
Yeah.
Hopefully somewhere like AEW or Impact can pick her up. Because she should not be slept on one bit.
Right.
But yeah, really, really fantastic show all around. So do you want to go to the best of the night?
Hell yeah. The best of the night.
So, I don't think we can do promo of the night since all the promos were inaudible, to say the least.
Probably fair.
So let's just jump into wrestler of the night. There's gonna be a lot. Like, it's gonna be hard to pick. But I'm gonna give you 3 choices, and I think we can easily pick one. So,
Okay.
Santana, Thunder Rosa, or Athena. I know it is tough, and even outside of those 3, there's still so many good talent to pick from.
I'd say Athena.
I would say too.
Okay.
So Athena's our wrestler of the night. And now let's jump into match of the night. As always, we go from the worst match to the best match of the night. And then we'll talk about which one is the match of the night. So, worst match of the night. With a 4 out of 10. Lindsay Dorado versus Sam Adonis. The main thing was just the finish. It felt wonky. It felt like it was botched. Don't know what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe that was supposed to happen. Next up, a 5 out of 10. The Acclaimed versus Brian Cage and Casey Navarro. Pretty decent match, but was a little overbooked in the end. Next up, 6 out of 10. Bandito versus Dante Martin. Really fun match, but I do not agree at all with the finish, with who won. Wrong guy won. Next up, 6 out of 10. Sky Blue versus Miranda Zay. Fun match. You know, pretty decent. Next, 7 out of 10. The Briscoes versus Workhorsemen. Great match. Really fun. Had me sitting on the edge of my seat for a little bit. Next up, 7 out of 10. Myron Reid versus Gringo Loco versus Alex Zane versus Blake Christian. With how much Blake Christian's been winning, you would think he'd be the one to beat Gresham. But you know he's not going to. But he's winning everywhere. Next up, 7 out of 10. Warhorse versus Dalton Castle. Just the personality made this match so much fun. And Dalton Castle is a really great wrestler. Next up, 8 out of 10. Santana versus Mike Bailey. Really, really great stuff. that had a lot of passion thrown in. But not as much as my pick for match of the night, and I'm sure it's yours, with a 9 out of 10. Thunder Rosa versus Athena. You know what?
I agree.
I'm gonna move up to 10 out of 10.
Okay, cool.
This match was just outstanding. Outstanding. So much passion, and these women killed it. They killed it. I can't say anything else besides just watch the match yourself.
Yeah.
You look very tired, by the way. You look like you can't
Do
keep.
I?
You look like you can't keep your eyes open.
Oh, I was looking down. So
Oh, maybe that was it.
if this is, yeah, no, I was looking down. Sorry.
Okay. Then I take back what I said. All right. So to run it back, wrestler of the night, Athena. There you go. You look very awake now, and not miserable. And match of the night, Thunder Rosa versus Athena. All right. You want to answer some questions?
I'll answer a question.
Forgot to mention, if you have a question for our question segment, which is happening right now, leave it in the chat if you're watching on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a comment. We'll get to it in the next one. If you're listening on Spotify, join us at twitch.tv/The Pinfall Podcast to talk to us live. We love talking to you folks. All right, so Milam asked on YouTube on our AEW Dynamite recap. It says, what's your ideal for the Ambrose Danielson storyline? For them to team together, so I guess Ambrose would go heel, or them to feud. The latter seems likely, but them teaming would be awesome, I think. Them teaming would definitely be awesome.
I want them to feud.
Oh, really?
I want to see Bryan Danielson's heart get broken. He's leaning way too into the relationship thing that I'm like, this could be fun.
Yeah. But I think...
And just imagine Bryan Danielson screaming at him, we could have had it all!
The only reason I would say I think he's going to team up is because he was originally supposed to go heel to feud with Hangman Moxley. So this could get him to do it, and them teaming together could be a killer tag team. Like, literally murdering people. Just imagine.
It would be really cool, actually. Like,
them feuding with Dark Order. Preston Vance and maybe, like, fucking Evil Uno teaming against them to get back against Mox for making Preston bleed so much.
Yeah. There is that.
And having them recruit a third member, like a younger guy, would be really cool. Would be a perfect place. You said Dante Martin?
Not Dante Martin. What's his face? Daniel Garcia.
Yeah, exactly. He definitely fit there a lot better than 2.0.
Okay, calm down. They're a family.
They're a family, but how does he fit there? I get he shitposts a lot on Twitter.
He's their angry son. What are you fucking talking about? What is the confusion?
Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah, God.
But yeah, that would be a sick trio. What would they call themselves? Besides just Mox and Danielson.
Manuelson.
Murder House or Slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse Rules.
There you go. Perfect.
WWF. The Shield.
Don't say that too loud. Seth's gonna fucking burn the Forbidden Door down.
Oh, God. All right. Well, looks like that's all the questions we have. Liz, would you like to close out the show?
No.
Okay.
Heel lit. If you join us tonight, thank you so much. And if you join us in the future, thank you so much. We appreciate you. Happy almost Valentine's Day. I hope you have a good one. We will be back on Tuesday for our WWE. Oh boy.
You good?
For somebody who's sober right now, I sure am drunk. This superfood smoothie is really fucking kicking my ass. Join us on Tuesday for our WWE 2K20 stream, where we will be playing WWE 2K20 and streaming it.
Battle of the Brands.
Live. Battle of the Brands.
Yeah, join us for that on Tuesday. It's our go-home show to Fastlane. I've got a good lineup for my brand. I don't know if you do, but I definitely do.
You wanna know a little secret?
What's that?
I don't have a lineup for my brand.
You probably won't until Tuesday. But yeah. Our YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, and Twitch are all the Pinfall Podcast or Pinfall Podcast. I'm at the Mark Cameron. Liz is at Eli's at Elaine23, and again, join us on Tuesday for WWE 2K20. And then we'll have our regularly scheduled Dynamite, Impact post shows, and on Saturday. Are you really going to object to doing an Elimination Chamber post show?
Dude, I want to talk about Jay White and Eric Young.
All right, we'll make a poll. Make a poll on Twitter deciding our show for this coming weekend. Two of the choices are Elimination Chamber and Impact No Surrender, and then a third one that might be happening that same weekend, and then other. So go to our Twitter at Pinfall Podcast to be able to vote on that. That should be up tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you Tuesday. And happy Valentine's Day.